朋友们，大家好，我是太阳老师。Hello everyone, I'm teacher Taiyang. Let's continue our study of elementary Chinese Reader 2, and in this video we look at lesson 27, in which we study quite a unique feature of Mandarin Chinese grammar, which is complement of result or resultative complement. Before we could understand what a resultative complement or a complement of result is, let us first have a look at the formation of a Chinese word. In modern Chinese, words are either monosyllabic, disyllabic, or some words are trisyllabic, which means the word is either formed of a single syllable, two syllables, or some words are made up of three syllables, which means they are either made of single sound, two sounds, or three consecutive sounds. In modern Mandarin Chinese, nearly 80 to 85% words are disyllabic, which means there are two syllables pronounced in consecutive to make a word. Let us understand this with some alphabets or syllables in English. Suppose G, the alphabet G, is a word in itself, which means to listen. Let us have another alphabet O. Let us say O means to understand. The sound O, the syllable O, the alphabet O means to understand. So the alphabet G, the sound G has a meaning to listen, and the sound O, the syllable O, has a meaning to understand. If these two words come together in consecutive, G and O, it means a separate word which looks like it is a different word altogether. G and O, both of these are verb to think, to listen, or to understand. G to listen and O to understand. And when these words come together, one is followed by other so that they looks like it is a single word and it has a separate meaning. G and O, to listen and to understand. This formation, this coming together of two verbs or two adjectives so that they seems like a single word having a different meaning is called the complement of result or resultative complement. Let us now look at the Chinese equivalent of these two words. So for G, which is to listen, we have a word which is think, and for O, to understand, for this we have a word tong. When these two words come together, think tong, to listen and to understand. These two words, these two syllables coming together seems like it is a single word, to listen and to understand. Are you able to listen and understand? Ni think tong ma. Can you listen and understand? Or simply meaning, can you understand? Ni think tong ma. Are you able to listen and understand? Or are you able to understand? These two verbs coming together, forming a separate understanding of this word is called resultative complement or a complement of result. A good example is, which we have just done, think tong, to listen and to understand. Other examples could be kan chian, to see. Both words mean see, but kan chian, chian is a resultative complement for kan and think, to see and listen. In this lesson, we'll do more example of such resultative complements, a verb or a verb and an adjective coming together so that it seems almost like a different word, indicating an altogether different meaning. Let's first have a look at the sentences in the box to understand the grammar or some sentence pattern of resultative complements. 你听懂这个故事了吗？听懂 to listen and to understand. 听 is to listen. 懂 to understand. 故事 story. Were you able to listen and understand this story? Notice le is placed after the resultative complement if it is in the sentence. 你听懂这个故事了吗? Are you able to listen and understand this story? Moving on to the next sentence. 这个问题他没回答对，回答错了。这个问题 this question 回答 is to answer. 对 correct. Notice 对 is an adjective and 回答 is a verb. So a resultative complement can either be formed with a verb and another verb or a verb and an adjective. 这个问题他没回答对. Whenever there is a negation of a sentence with resultative complement or complement of result, it has to be done with may or mayo. 这个问题他没回答对，回答错了. So is wrong or incorrect. This answer he did not answer correctly, answered it incorrect. 这个问题他没回答对，回答错了. So 3 points from these two sentences. First, if there is le in the sentence, it has to be placed after the resultative complement. If there is a negation of a sentence with resultative complement, we have to use may or mayo. And a resultative complement can either be a verb formation or a verb and an adjective formation. Moving on to the substitution drills, let's have a look at the sentence. 这篇课文 this text 你看了吗? 看 here means to read. Is this text have you read or have you read this text? 这篇课文你看了吗? Have you read this text? 我看了 I have read. 你看完了吗? One is to finish. Were you able to finish reading or have you read completely? 我看完了 I have read completely. 他看完了吗? Has he read it completely? 他没看完 he has not read it completely. 这 only 看了一半 only read one half. Pan is half. He has not read it completely, only read it half. Moving on to the substitution words in the box, let's have a look. Nian to read, Shui to study, Fani to translate, Yushi to preview. Replace these words in the sentence. Moving on to the next sentence. 你听懂这个故事了吗? Were you able to listen and understand this story? 这个故事不难. This story is not difficult. 我听懂了 I listened and understood, or I was able to listen and understand the story. 听懂 this is an example of resultative complement. 我听懂了 I listened and understood. Let us now look at the words in the box to make the replacements. Let's have a look at the words. 看 to see or read. 班 this is measure word for books. 小说 novel. Were you able to read and understand this novel? This novel is not difficult. I was able to read and understand. Moving on to the next substitution. Think to listen. 课 is a measure word. 广播节目 广播 is broadcast. 节目 is program. Were you able to listen and understand this program? This program is not difficult. I was able to listen and understand it. 我听懂了. Moving on to the third word. 看 to see or read. 班 measure word. 科学 science. 小故事 small story, a small science story or a science fiction. Were you able to read and understand this science fiction? This science fiction is not difficult. I was able to read and understand. 我听懂了. Moving on to the third sentence. 这个问题他回答对了吗? Is this question was he able to answer correctly? 没有 not. 这个问题他没回答对，回答错了. This question he was not able to answer correctly. He answered it incorrectly. 回答对 to answer correctly and 回答错 answer incorrectly. Moving on to the words in the box to replace. 汉字 Chinese character. 学 to write Chinese character. Was he able to write this Chinese character correctly? 没有 not. He was not able to write these correctly. He wrote it incorrectly. 上色 new words. 念 to read. Was he able to read these new words correctly? 没有 no or not. He was not able to read these Chinese characters correctly. He read it incorrectly. Moving on to the third word. 练习 exercise. 做 to do. Was he able to do the exercise correctly? 没有 no or not. He was not able to do the exercise correctly. He did it incorrectly. Choose a sentence. 翻译 translate. Was he able to translate the sentence correctly? 没有 no. He was not able to translate the sentence correctly. He translated it incorrectly. Moving on to the next substitution drill. Let's have a look at the sentence. 刚才他写的字你看见了吗？刚才 just now 写的字 right character. 看见 notice 看 is to see and 见 is also to see. Both these verbs means to see, and 见 is a common verb that is followed by 看, and it gives a meaning of 看到, or an action has reached its completion, or saw. 看见 is saw. This denotes the action has reached its desired objective or it is completed. 刚才他写的字你看见了吗？ Did you saw the character that he just wrote? 我没看见，我没注意看。注意 is to notice. I did not notice. 没看见 did not saw. 我没注意看 I did not notice. 没看见 did not saw. Moving on to the words in the box to make the replacement. 唱 to sing, 歌 song, think to listen. Did you listen to the song that she just sung? I did not notice. I did not listen. 我没听见. With think and with 看, 见 is a common resultative complement denoting that action has reached its completion. Moving on to the next word. 写 to write, choose a sentence, 看 to see. Did you saw the sentence that she wrote? I did not notice. I did not saw. 没看见. Moving on to the third word. Let's have a look at the word. 说 to speak, 话 word, think to listen. Did you listen to the words that he just spoke? I did not notice. 没听见 did not heard. Moving on to the last word. 提 to put forward, 意见 opinion, think to listen. Did you listen to the opinion that she just put forward? I did not notice. 没听见 did not heard. Moving on to the next substitution drill. Let's have a look at the sentence. 你们几点回到了学校? Notice the usage of 到 as a resultative complement denote that an action has reached its desired objective or has already been completed. 回到 is to return. 到 this means to arrive, but used as a resultative complement. Here this means returned. At what time did you return to school? 你们几点回到了学校? At what time you returned to school? 我们5点回到了学校. We returned to school at 5. 回到 here denotes that action has reached its objective or has already been completed. Moving on to the words in the box to make a substitution. Let's have a look at the words. 他们的汽车 their car, 开 to start or drove, So we make a resultative complement of Tao with Kai. Kai Tao to drove. 他们的汽车几点开到了学校? At what time their car drove in the school? Moving on to the next substitution, let's have a look at the words. 那些同学, those classmates. 走 to walk. So we make the resultative complement of Tao with 走 to walk. 走到 to walk or walk. 那些同学几点走到了学校? Those classmates at what time walked in the school? Moving on to the third sentence, let's have a look at the words. 排球队, the volleyball team. 来 to come, making the resultative complement of 来 with Tao. 来到 here means to arrive or arrived. 排球队几点来到了学校? At what time the volleyball team arrived in school? So notice the resultative complement of Tao with these words. 开到, 走到, 来到, drove, walked, arrived. Moving on to the next substitution, let's have a look at the following sentences. 这12个句子, these 10 sentences 你翻译到第7个了. You have translated till which number? 翻译到, translated till. These 10 sentences, you have translated to which number? 我翻译到第5个了. Have translated till the 5th one. Moving on to the box to make replacements, let's have a look at the words. 练习 exercise. 做 to do. You have done this exercise till which number? I have done this exercise till the 5th one. 上册 new words. 写 to write. You have written these new words till which number? I have written these new words till the 5th one. 问题回答 question and answer. You have answered these questions till which number? I have answered this question till the 5th one. Moving on to the next sentence, let's have a look at this sentence. 汉舍关上门打开了窗户. Notice the usage of Shang as a resultative complement. When Shang is used as a resultative complement, it denotes that something or one action has been followed by another action. For example, in this case, 汉舍关上门,关is to close. Shang as a resultative complement. 汉舍 closed the door, 门. 打开了 opened. 窗户 window, opened window. So he closed the door and opened window. Usage of Shang as a resultative complement, denoting one action being preceded or proceeded by another action. Moving on to the words in the box to make replacements, let's have a look at these words. 收音机 radio. 电视机 television set. 电视 television. 窗户 window. 窗户 again, and 录音机 a recorder. Make the replacements in this sentence and see the usage of Shang as a resultative complement. Moving on to the text of this lesson, let's read the text. 听广播节目 think to listen, 广播 broadcast, 节目 program, listening to broadcast program. Let's read the text. 吃晚 fun. 吃 to eat, 晚 finish, 晚 fun dinner. After finished eating dinner, notice the usage of resultative complement. 吃晚 after finishing, 晚 fun dinner after finishing dinner. 吃晚 fun. 我和汉斯 I and Hans 回到 returned. 宿舍 to dormitory. After finishing dinner, I and Hans returned to the dormitory. 我打开收音机 I opened or started the radio. 想听音乐 desired or wanting to listen music. Shao in Chi Li in the radio, Guang Po broadcast, the 是一个小故事, it's a small story. In the radio, the broadcast was of a small story. 我对汉斯说, I to Hans said. 快来听, 快 quick, 来 to come, 听 to listen. Quickly come and listen. 这是一个小故事, this is a small story. 很有意思, very interesting. After finishing dinner, I and Hans returned to the dormitory. I opened the radio, wanting to listen to music. The program or broadcast in the radio was of a small story. I to Hans said, Hans, come quickly, listen, it's a small story. Very interesting. 听完广播 after finished listening to the broadcast. One finished thing to listen. After finished listening 广播 broadcast. 我关上收音机 I closed the radio. One Hans asked Hans. After finished listening to the broadcast, I closed the radio. Asked Hans. 怎么样 How about 刚才的故事刚才 just now 故事 story 听懂了吗听懂 listen and understand 吗 interrogative particle were you able to listen and understand the story that we just listened 听懂了一些 listen and understood a bit 没懂听懂 not able to listen and understand all of it 我也 I also 没听懂 I was also not able to understand all of it 你常 you often 听广播吗 Do you often listen to the broadcast 我常听 I often listen 我常听天气预报 I often listen to the weather forecast 预报 is forecast I often listen to the weather forecast 明天天气怎么样 Tomorrow how's the weather or how's the weather for tomorrow or what is the forecast for weather for tomorrow 明天晴 Tomorrow 晴 is clear Tomorrow would be a clear day 最高 highest 气温 temperature 14度 14 degrees Tomorrow weather would be clear and maximum temperature would be 14 degrees 我们还没说完 We have yet not finished speaking 听见 listened or heard 丁文在外边叫我丁文 from outside called me 我开门问他开 to open 门 door want to ask 他 him I opened the door a bit and asked him 丁文怎么事丁文事 is matter 怎么事 what is the matter 快来看电视快来 is quickly come 看 to see 电视今天的节目 today's program 是排球赛 today's program is a volleyball game 中国队对美国队 Chinese team against American team so today's program is a volleyball game of Chinese team against American team 我们说这个节目不能不看我们说 we said 这个节目 this program 不能能 is can 不能 cannot 不看 not see double negation making emphasis that this is a program we cannot miss 不能不看这个节目不能不看 this program we cannot miss 说one 我们三个一块儿 we three at once 出电视关了 went to the television room This was the text of lesson 27 in which we studied the grammar particle called resultative complement or complement of result where there are two verbs or a verb and adjectives come together as much as they appear to have a single word and a common meaning.